Hello everyone, welcome back to the White One Auto YouTube channel. And what we have in here today is a 2006 Subaru. What kind of Subaru is it? The Subaruski. What do we have? This thing is it's a Legacy 3.5 GT. So the reason why it's here is because I was told the customer came out one day, it would not start. So they took it to a mechanic. They said it had a fuel pump issue, but it was the wiring, so they couldn't fix that. So then they towed it to the dealer. The dealer said that I guess one time this thing was in an accident and they didn't put the inner fender liner back in it, so it messed up the wiring over there. So they fixed the wiring, and then now the car starts, but the transmission doesn't shift. The owner says that he is positive he didn't have any transmission issues before the wiring was repaired. So he brought it here so we could take a look at it to see, is it the wiring, is it the transmission, is it something else? So that's what we're gonna do. So our first step is we already got the hoist all set up. We're just gonna raise this. Okay, well, let me back up. So it does move under its own power, where you can go forward and reverse, but I'm told that the transmission does not shift. And it had a couple like 1,700 codes. You know me, I like to try to fix a car without using the scanner as much as possible. So we're not gonna pull codes yet. We will just continue with our visual inspection and then see what that turns up. And then if need be, we will get our scanner out to see what is going on. So we have our hoist set up because we know that the work was done on the left front side. So what we're gonna do is raise the vehicle up, pull this wheel off, and take a look at our wiring repair. Okay, so you can see there's still no fender liner, but they did fix the wiring. So I guess they're banking on a repeat customer here. Come back for the same thing again. So this is where we have our glob of wiring repair. You can see our boot is still not pushed in. That should be in. So what we'll do is we'll start removing this tape. We'll get our wheel off, cut this tape, and see what this repair actually looks like. Okay, so we got our wheel off. Let's start taking this tape off. We'll cut it and see what we see. Is that a wire on it? Disconnect it. Better. So where'd they do some repair? I don't see nothing here. Where is the repair? Oh, maybe it's in here. Maybe this yellow? Is that the repair? Oh, it's up further in there. If you can see on that backside, way up there. So we're gonna have to pull all this down and get it out. Let us do that. Oh, here we go. We're starting to see it now. Oh, yeah. That's a lot of tape in there. What did tape? Oh my goodness. This is ridiculous. This is like they just taped the wires back together. What in the world? Ain't no heat shrink or nothing? Yeah, that's what it looks like. Just the old tape jobber. I can't believe. And this was done at a dealership. Subaru dealership did this. And I know because the guy showed me the receipt. I got the receipt here from what the dealer did. This looks like a backyard job if I've never seen one. I mean, come on, we'll get you 1, 2, 3. Oh, so we got some corrosion right here. Let's zoom in on that. So we have corrosion. Got our good old friend, the green crusties there. So I bet this wire is pretty much, oh, let me focus. So that is no good. See, do we got some more pinched up in here? Huh. So this red with white here needs to be repaired correctly. That needs to be fixed. So I'm gonna start taking this tape off of some of these other ones so we can actually see what the repair looks like. So what do you think is behind there? Do you all think, is it butt connectors? Is it just wire tape? Is it soldered? Is it what? I bet it's probably soldered and just all taped up together. I don't think there's any heat shrink in here, especially adhesive line heat shrink. I think it's probably just soldered together. I'm struggling so much because I hurt my thumb earlier today. And it feels like a butt connector now. Let me back up some. Let me get a bigger. I'm gonna have to get in here better, closer. Whoa. Yeah, this feels like a butt connector. They got enough tape on it though. I can tell you that much. So remember, so we got a white with red wire. Oh, it just came loose. So it probably is just a butt connector. Oh boy. So we got enough tape on this thing. Well, that end is good. That other end. This is the end of the wire that came out. So our suspect wires right now, we have a white with red and a blue with red. So remember to see if when we do look up our wiring diagram, do any of those have anything to do with the transmission? Because they obviously did not have a good connection. The white with red didn't even get fixed, and that blue with red was not securely held in with whatever they got this stuff held in with. I mean, they got so much electrical tape on here. It's just ridiculous. But this feels like a butt connector now. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I can actually kind of see the outlines of a butt connector. Yep, when we're getting down to it, that is a butt connector. So I'm not gonna say there's anything wrong with butt connectors, but you definitely wanna use the adhesive lined ones in a situation like this. And you wanna make sure that they're crimped correctly, because that's why that wire came out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up our wiring diagram and see what this white with red and this red with white go to. I'll get you a further look on the inside. So it looks like they just butt connected this stuff together. So this is our wire that they didn't see to fix. How many wires is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like they're all going to the right colors. They may have just forgot that one. So let's go take a look at a wiring diagram. Okay, so we're at our wiring diagram. And we see there is a white with red right here. And that goes all the way over here to the torque converter turbine speed sensor. So now, remember, we haven't ran codes yet. So let us go inside, pull a code, and see does it have anything to do with our torque converter turbine speed sensor 1. Okay, so we got our VIN in. Let us do a code scan and see what we come up with. Okay, so we're done with the code scan. We got 5 transmission codes. So we got a CAN communication, transmission vehicle speed sensor, automatic vehicle speed sensor, backup light, and neutral circuit. So that's what we got there. 1718 720 vehicle speed sensor malfunction. Yeah. Oh. Okay. And what were our engine codes? Throttle 2102. So let us go in and save these. And we'll look at some of the description for these. So 1718 and a 1706. That's 1718, 1706 is what I'm concerned with right now. So what I've decided I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix these 2 wires. So this white with light blue. Then I'm gonna repair this wire right here, the white with red. Then do a real good inspection and see if any of these other wires are nicked or cut. And then we'll clear codes and see what else we have. So we've temporarily fixed this. We haven't heat shrinked it yet, and we're just running a jumper from there to there. So we're gonna let it down, clear the codes, and see what comes back. We'll load our vehicle back up. Then we're gonna come in here and clear all of these codes. Clear codes. Okay, so we've cleared codes. Now we'll shut it off and see what returns. Okay, so we're gonna run a code scan again and see what we come up with. Okay, so it's saying 0 engine codes, 0 transmission codes. We got some ABS codes. So let us start it up. And we'll see what happens here. So I want to take this thing out and drive it to see if it's shifting. So I got to put the wheel on and got to better secure that wiring over there so we can take it for a drive. Okay, so I want you all to see something. So do you see this axle? This is our passenger side front axle. This thing is not seated all the way in the, so we call it the transmission. Yeah, and the differential that bolts to the transmission. That's most likely why we get that grinding. See, it should be seated all the way in like that. And it's kind of weird to me because this one looks newer, but the accident was on the driver's side, I thought, not the passenger side. So someone has replaced this axle and did not do it correctly. Let's go to the rear and take a look. Where the rear tires, see that one's seated, that one's seated. So someone has replaced that front axle and did not seat it all the way. That's why we get that grinding when we place it in park. So we need to make the customer aware about this axle not being seated, tell them we could seat that, and then see if the grinding goes away, as well as fix that wiring. So that, and then we will take this thing for a drive. So that's why you really gotta be mindful of who you let work on your vehicle, because unfortunately, a lot of people just don't care. And then some of them just don't know. And both of those are dangerous. To not care and to not know can cost someone a lot of money. So we'll see what the customer wants. Okay, so we're in the vehicle. We'll start it up. So we'll shift to drive. Now we're in drive. You can see we got our rear wheels are turning. I believe our front wheels should be turning because this thing is all-wheel drive, but they aren't. But also another thing I noticed is that when we shift to park, sometimes it does it. You get that grinding sound, and that is not good. So, like I said, I believe this thing was all-wheel drive, so I think our front wheels should be turning too. Let me go back and double check. This thing all-wheel. No, it's not. Aren't all Subarus all-wheel drive? I thought so. Yeah. Let's raise this thing up and have a look. Okay, so on our Subaru, customer gave us approval to fix the wiring and to reseat the axle. So you can see the vehicle is in park, but it doesn't really have park. Like it rolls. It rolls. So we are rolling even though we are in park. Let me put a wheel chalk down. I don't want to roll it off the hoist. So, and that is because that axle isn't seated inside the transmission. So what we're gonna do is raise the vehicle up, seat the axle, and then see if it will remain in park. So you can see this axle in. Again, it's not seated. It has been replaced. We talked to the customer. They said, yeah, they did pay to have this thing replaced. And they also paid to have an alignment done. So I'm not sure how two different people missed this, but it is missed. So what we'll do is attempt to reseat this. Hopefully it reseats, and then we'll re-engage park and see if the transmission will remain in park. Because we don't want to fix the wiring if there's damage to the transmission, because we can find this out now without repairing the wiring. So at least we'll have a full picture to let our customer know where we should go. When my guy pulled the old axle out and he says that he didn't like the way it looked, so we went ahead and we got a new one. So we got that in, new axle nut, we got it torqued down. So we're gonna let the vehicle down, torque the wheel, and then we will see if it goes in park. I believe it will, so let's see. Okay, so let us hop inside of here. We'll see what we got. So we'll go in reverse. We'll go in drive. So we're in drive. We hear no grinding. So let's go in reverse again. So we're moving. Let's go in drive. And no grinding. So we are in park. This thing should not turn. So let us see. So it is holding park now. It won't turn. So that's just normal movement from the park cross. So that is fixed. So what we're gonna move on to next is we're gonna do our wiring over here and then put our fender liner in. So that part's done. Hallelujah. Okay, so we have our rubber grommet seated in here for our wiring. You can see it had some damage from the accident, so that's the best we can get it to sit, but it is in there, and I'll show you a comparison. So this red adhesive line heat shrink is where we're gonna make a repair, and this is what the dealer did. So you can see ours is all nicely sealed, and it's a lot smaller than these repairs that they have. So we will continue to go ahead and make our repairs and make this solid so we can drive this vehicle. Okay, so you can even see this is one of the wires that I pulled the connector off of. Let's let it focus. So you can see they made a repair and this wire is still corroded. And this is a small wire. You can look at the burn marks in there. I mean, this is not the way you do wiring work, but this is the way the Subaru dealer decided to do it. Let me see, maybe I can pull another one off. Well, that one was pretty small. I think that's why it pulled off. The rest of them are on here pretty good, but I mean, this is ridiculous. The way the supposed experts that people love the dealer. Like I say, the building never fixes your car. No matter how fancy the building is, that's what's not doing the car repair. The person, the mechanic, the technician is doing the car repair. I mean, look at this. So you got wrong bolt here, correct bolt there. You know, just unfortunately, some people do not take pride in their work and want to do a good job. They just want to get to the payday. And trust me, I like getting to the payday too, but only after I did a good job. See this? They got this held on with the zip tie. And I mean, this is why my price is not negotiable, because I know when you do something for less than what you believe it's worth, you don't do a good enough job. But if you accept lesser payment than what you think you're worth, you should still do a good job. Okay, so we have made all our connections here. Everything is all nice and heat shrink down. So what we'll do is come in and tape all this back up, and then we will reinstall it back over here and put our fender liner in so the wiring is protected the way the factory wanted. Okay, so we have our wiring secured up here, tucked up here out of the way. Now I say the next thing to do is just for us to put our fender liner in here, and then we can clear codes and get this thing out of here. Okay, so we have our fender liner in. We weren't able to get these two holes to line up just because the underbody of the car is not repaired correctly, and you can see here it just won't come in. They got zip ties holding this on. We don't want to disturb too much, but we do have it in here secure, so it will protect from the elements. So we'll get our wheel on, and then we'll get the car down and clear the codes and take it for a drive. Okay, so we got our inner fender liner in as best we could with this poor excuse for body work. So we put a screw and a clip there. We got some trim tabs there. So this thing's fitting. So what we're gonna do is put our wheel back on, and then we'll let it down, clear codes, and take it for a drive. Okay, so we're in the car now. So we got the wheels back on, we got them torqued down. So let's go in. So we will come here, and let me cut this. So let us clear codes, and this should clear and everything, and then we should be able to take it for a drive. Okay, so we cleared these. Now we will key off, and we should be good. Okay, so let us key on. So our check engine light is out. We got our ABS light is going to stay on because we don't have any rear sensors in there. And you can see we aren't getting that grind anymore. So we're just gonna take it for a drive and check this out. Okay, so let us take this for a drive here. So let's see. So this thing, it shifts. We need to slap our seatbelt on. But shifts fine. So we initially had the problem, we had no park, transmission would not shift. So and also like all that bad wiring. So we've repaired the wiring, we've replaced that axle and reseated it, and you can see the so you can watch the RPM drop, and you see the transmission is now shifting, even after the dealer said that the problem was the transmission was bad, but the transmission wouldn't shift because the wiring wasn't correct. That's just all it is. So we can pull it back up, and you see we won't have that grinding like we had before when we put it in park. Let me park this thing here. So we are in drive. Let's go to park. No grinding. So still no check engine light. So all of that's fine. So this is another good repair. Thank you all for following along. White One Auto out. Okay, so I thought we were done shooting, but the customer asked me when I told him that we were done. He said, hey, can you take the thing out on the highway? Because he just wants to know how it drives. So that's what we'll do. We got to go run and grab some parts. We'll put 30 or so miles on it. And we'll check in as we're going. Okay, so we are entering the highway. Specifically, the customer told me around 55. It gave him like a noise, like he was riding over rumble strips. I believe that was from just that axle not being seated. But so you can see we are approaching 60, and we'll stop talking so you can hear. So what we have is just normal car noise, you know, from the other cars that are whizzing by us. We are doing, well, we're back at 55, but we're running between 55 and 60, and we don't hear any abnormal noise. Still no check engine light. Of course, it's got to run through a couple monitors for that. But yeah, like I said before, I believe this thing is fixed for what it came in. Now we can fix the ABS light and that code 55, but the customer's just not ready to do that yet. And hopefully they will bring it back and will become like a regular customer for us. So we are gonna call this thing fixed. So White One Auto out. So just as an update, we are running down 696 in Detroit, and the speed limit is 70 here. So we're gonna get up to 70 and no rumble strip noise either. So you can see we are running. So we're about to hit 696. We're running 70, and yeah, so we're looking good. I'm actually becoming a Subaru fan here. Yeah, so we are trucking along here. We're in some slower traffic. So we will. Yeah, so we are running, yeah, definitely at highway speeds here. And this thing is coming along well here. Yeah, so right now we are running highway speed 70 miles an hour. And this thing is running great. So we are happy with it. So I am going to officially now close the video after we have met the customer's last request, and we will call this thing fixed and done. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you want to get service here at White One Auto, give us a call, 313-264-1689. 313-264-1689. Thank you.